Welcome to the February 24th, 2021 meeting of the Hyde Park Zoning Board of Appeals. Will each member of the board confirm that he is alone or that no one is present that may influence his vote? As called, please respond yes or no. Secretary, take a vote.
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes.
Richard Perkins,
Yes.
Herbert Sweet.
Yes. Now, I have confirmed with the zoning board's council that tonight's meeting has been convened in accordance with the governor's March 13th, 2020 Executive Order 202.1 and its extensions, which supersedes certain provisions of the open meetings law to allow a municipal board to convene a meeting via video conferencing. In accordance with the executive order, the public has been provided with the ability to view tonight's meeting, and a transcript will be provided at a later date. I've done a roll call of the board members, and there is a quorum present for this meeting. I have also confirmed with the zoning secretary that this meeting has been duly noticed. We have fulfilled our legal notice requirements by posting notice on the town bulletin boards and news organizations, etc., and posting notice on the town's agenda center of its website. We'll now commence with the Pledge of Allegiance. Because of audio synchronization, the only person that you may hear is me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our next meeting will be held on Wednesday, March 24th, 2021. We now need to approve the minutes for the January 27th meeting.
I move for approval.
And who is that?
David McNary.
Okay, David moves.
I'll second it.
And Rich seconds. And would Serena please take a vote?
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes.
Richard Perkins,
Yes.
Herbert Sweet.
Yes. The first item on our agenda is a carryover. This is Locusts on Hudson, Old 135 Old Post Road, Statsburg, New York. This is a variance 1084.3G2 to allow construction within the stream corridor, change the undisturbed area from 100 feet to 0 feet for construction incursion in the waterfront district. We are still awaiting an EAF, and the latest news is that we expect to be receiving it in time to be addressing the issue presented at the March meeting. But for now, just making that notation. And the next item following that is the Hudson Valley Hospice House. And we have a few folks here from the Hospice House. Public hearing was closed on January 27th. And Serena, were there any comments received from the public with the allocated time frame?
No, there were not.
Thank you. And let me see if anybody has any comments. Rich Perkins?
Comment.
No comments. Jim Agwal?
No comment.
And Dave McNary?
No.
No. And who am I forgetting?
Oh,
Where are you? Up there. Keeping track of these chicklets gets me dizzy at time. Any comments from Paul?
No comment.
Okay. Our zoning officer? No comments. And our attorney is here now. Any comments, Patrick? You're muted, Patrick. Okay. work on it. Okay, so, will Mr. Perkins, please move the motion?
I'd like to move the motion to uh, do the resolution. No resolution number on this.
Oh, tut, tut, tut.
It's 20-18Z.
20-18Z.
Z, yes.
Thank you. I can make a motion to move resolution 20-18Z.
You have to read it.
Yeah, the whole thing, huh? Here we go. Get your popcorn. Whereas the applicant, Hudson Valley Hospice, Inc., has submitted an application for an area variance to permit the construction of a residential inpatient care facility with driveways, parking, and related infrastructure, in parentheses, the project, at property located at 542 Violet Avenue and 31 East Dorsey Lane, identified as tax parcel numbers 616302, 552748, and 570735 in the Neighborhood Core Zoning District. And whereas the proposal is depicted on the site plan entitled Site Plan Prepared for Hudson Valley Hospice, prepared by MAG Designs, Berger Engineering and Surveying, and Carney Reinbold, dated June 5th, 2020. And whereas the applicant also seeks, among other things, subdivision approval from the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board to consolidate the two parcels constituting the site into a single lot. Whereas the applicant seeks an area variance for zoning law section 108-5-15 to permit a scale of 30,000 square feet where 6,000 square feet is required, the requested variance. Whereas on December 16th, by resolution 2020-17A, the Hyde Park Planning Board, serving as lead agency in a coordinated review of the project under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, adopted a negative declaration finding the project as proposed would not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts, and that a draft environmental impact statement would not be prepared. And whereas pursuant to section 239-M of the general municipal law, the project was referred to Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development, which responded with comments on October 23rd, 2020, and recommended that the board, rely upon its own study of the facts. And whereas a duly noted public hearing was held or opened on October 29th, 2020, during a remote meeting held by the Zoning Board of Appeals in accordance with the New York State Governor Cuomo's Executive Order 202.1 and the subsequent extensions thereof, during which all of those who wished to speak were heard. And whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals closed the public hearing at its January 27th, 2020 meeting, but kept the record open for the submission of written comments for a period of 7 days thereafter. Whereas the applicable standards for considering an area of variance are set forth in Town Law Section 267-B and the Hyde Park Zoning Law Section 108-33.6B2, which required a board to take into consideration the benefit to the applicant if the variance is granted, as weighed against the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the general neighborhood or community by such grant. Now, Therefore, be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings in accordance with section 267B of the town law and Hyde Park zoning law, section 108-33.6B2 regarding the requested variance. The requested variance will not produce an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a determinant in nearby property, a detriment to nearby properties. The requested variance would not change the character of the neighborhood, which already contains several commercial institutional structures, including an automotive repair shop, deli, retail plaza, church, and an accompanying school. The properties containing the deli, retail plaza, and church school are located at an intersection directly south of the site. The deli plaza appears to exceed the scale limitations in the school, and parking lot significantly exceed the scale limitations. The size of the school alone is over 40,000 square feet, as a pattern of development in the area consists of multiple properties and uses of a scale similar to the project. Requested variance would conform with the character of the neighborhood. The requested variance will not result in a significant increase in traffic, as the project will contain 14 inpatient rooms staffed by approximately 12 employees over a 24-hour period. The project will generate an estimated 43 vehicle trips over 24 hours, which is insignificant compared to the estimated 9,000 plus daily vehicle trips already on Violet Avenue. Impacts on the neighborhood residential properties to the south will also be decreased by the construction of a fence on the site between the project and the residents. The benefits sought, number two, the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method feasible, let's say other method, I don't know, feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. The applicant proposes that development of an inpatient hospice facility, which necessitates having separate rooms for patients and their loved ones, staff, equipment, and facilities to provide 24-hour care. The applicant has designed the proposed facility to escape. We got to stop. Hold on. The applicant has designed the proposed facility to a scale of approximately 30,000 square feet, which is the minimum size that still provides the facility with adequate space to function. If the facility were any smaller, it would be unable to provide the types of services it proposes to the 14 units within the project. Such a facility is meant to accommodate not only patients and staff, but relatives of the patient as well. The number of people occupying the building necessitates at least 32 parking spaces, which are required by code to be at least 162 square feet for a total area of 5,184 square feet. In addition, the New York State Department of Health and Medicare's conditions of participation for the hospice inpatient units set forth requirements for staffing and unit size. The units are to be approximately 397 square feet to allow for a handicapped accessible bathroom and a space for family members to visit. 397 square feet for each of the 14 units totals 5,558 square feet. This calculation omits offices, hallways, and other common areas, which would cause the scale to exceed 6,000 square feet. As the maximum permitted scale is 6,000 square feet, and the scale includes parking in addition to the facility's building area, there is no way for the applicant to develop the project as proposed without needing an area variance. It appears that such a facility would only be able to contain 2 units in order to comply with the 6,000 square foot scale limitation, which is not financially feasible. Number 3, the requested variance is numerically substantial, as the permitted scale will increase by 24,000 square feet, 800%. However, as discussed herein, the impacts to the requested variance will not be substantial. The requested variance will not have an adverse effect or an impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the general neighborhood or district. The planning board, acting as lead agency, has already determined that the project as proposed would not result in any significant impacts to the environment. In addition, as discussed above, the impacts of the requested variance on the site and the neighborhood would be minimal. Any increase in impervious surface area as a result of the increased scale will not result in any significant impacts on the quality or vice versa, quantity or quality of stormwater runoff. The applicant has prepared a draft stormwater pollution prevention plan that will be reviewed by the town engineer and zoning administrator, and which will require the implementation of the best practices to further reduce environmental impacts from erosion and sedimentation. Number 5, the difficulties are self-created. Be it further resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeal hereby grants the requested variance subject to the following conditions. 1, payment of all fees and escrow. 2, receipt of subdivision approval from the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board for the consolidation of the 2 tax parcels constituting the site.
Secretary, please poll the board. You're muted. Sir.
I don't think we have a second for that.
Second.
Correct.
Thank you.
Dan Zagrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Richard Perkins,
Yes.
Herbert Sweet.
Yes. Okay, so off to the planning board with you folks.
Mr. Kaminsky, congratulations. We look forward to your project.
Thank you very much.
And its contribution to the community.
Much appreciated. I really do appreciate your positive vote. Thank you.
I think many of us didn't realize that the town, the entire county, as well as Ulster, had no facilities.
Correct.
That's a shock to have learned that. I'm glad we're doing something about it.
This is a significant benefit for the community.
Agreed. 100%.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Hey, well.
Okay,
Thank you.
take care. Next application is Pauline Yu. 62 East Market Street, Hyde Park. This is a variance of 108.4.3 G2, changing an undisturbed stream corridor from 100 feet to 75 feet in the neighborhood district. Public hearing was closed on January 27th, 2021. Do we have any applicant representation this evening?
We do not.
Okay. And Serena, with any comments from the public in the allotted time?
No.
Thank you. Let me run down through the board. Paul Donnelly, any comments?
No.
Rich Perkins,
No.
Jim Agwal,
No.
and Dave McNary.
None.
Zoning officer
No.
and attorney.
No.
Okay. So, Mr. McNary, will you move the motion?
I move to grant the resolution 20-24Z on February 24th, 2021. Resolution to grant area variance to Pauline Yu, 62 East Market Street, Hyde Park, New York, 12538. Whereas the applicant, Pauline Yu, represented by David Stewart, has submitted an application for an area variance from section 108-4 3G2C, changing the undisturbed stream corridor from 100 feet to 75 feet for installation of a generator in the neighborhood district. And whereas a stream in the Crum Elbow Creek, a Class C stream, and whereas the existing house was constructed prior to the establishment of limitations of construction within the 100-foot stream corridor, and whereas the proposed generator will be located on the north side of the house opposite from the stream, and whereas, now therefore be resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals makes the following findings in accordance with section 267-B of the town law and Hyde Park zoning law, section 108-33.6B2 regarding the requested variance. The granting of the requested variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties, as the generator will not be visible from any of the neighborhood properties. Mr. Stewart also advised that the generator would not be visible from the road. The benefit sought by the applicants cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicants to pursue other than by an area variance because of the location of the existing propane tank on the property. The requested variance is substantial numerically, but not in its impact. The generator will be located within the virtual footprint of the existing house. The requested variance will not have an adverse effect on or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the general neighborhood or district for reasons previously stated. The difficulty is self-created. Be it further resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby grants the requested variance subject to the following conditions. 1, payment of all fees. Is there a second on this, please?
Second, Jim.
Secretary poll the board.
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes.
Richard Perkins,
Yes.
Herbert Sweet,
Yes. Okay. Moving on to our next application. And I see Brad Will. Good. This is Suleiman and Hava Dodik, 4305 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York. This is a variance from 108.5.15, changing the density from 12 dwelling units per acre to 14 dwelling units per acre for the addition of one dwelling unit to an existing house on a 5,880 square foot parcel in the Town Core PW-1 district. So may I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So move, McNary.
May I have a second?
Jim Agrawal.
And Secretary, to poll the board, please.
yes, just 1 second. Okay, James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes.
Richard Perkins,
Yes.
Herbert Sweet,
Yes. So good evening, Mr. Will. Will you refresh us a little bit on the application? I remember you were here a month ago, but uh-oh. No, there we go. There's the plan. So give us a little refresher.
You're muted, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening. Could you go over the plan with the house one more time briefly?
I think it's a month ago. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Certainly. So, oh, I'm sorry. Here.
We have the drawing on the screen now.
Yeah, you can hear me now.
Yes.
This is a. Oh, hold.
Brad, you might want to turn off your video. We're having some difficulty.
Hold on. I have to change something up here. Pardon me for just a moment, please. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I was getting a very bad reverb and so I needed to make a change there. Sorry about that. So this is a two-story wood frame building on Albany Post Road in the newly created, or not newly created, but newly redefined district that now allows for two dwelling unit buildings or two family houses. So this is on a property that is just slightly undersized for the density that is allowed under your zoning code. It's, however, adjacent to similar types of buildings that have two family dwelling units within them, and of course a residential zone just to the west of the site. So we're before the planning board and your board as well, and we're asking for permission to have the two units in this building. We have adequate parking on site. The wastewater facility or system has been deemed adequate for the purposes of the two one-bedroom units. We're making some very modest changes on the exterior, which we're taking up with the planning board, and that have been added to the set since I presented to you last month, and that just shows a window that's being changed out and the front step where the ADA ramp is being removed. Other than that, I think it's I can't think of anything that jumps out. It's a pretty straightforward application. I don't think it's a large request. It's a small area variance request. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Question on your, do you have septic on this property, or is there a public sewer system you're connected?
It's septic. It's there are two sheets that are historic in nature and admittedly a little tricky to read. They were prepared back when the current use was created with the clinic at the ground level, and it's fully functioning, fully operational, and the Jason Teed from the county took a look at it and said it's going to be adequate for the proposed use and conversion into two units.
Okay, thank you.
I did a little research on this myself. I looked on Parcel Access, the county website, which has a wealth of information on all of the residents and businesses in the town. And I observed that the house was built in 1918 and had 3 bedrooms in that time. So now we're going to have 2 bedrooms, one upstairs and one downstairs. So it should hardly be an expansion. It's just simply a redefinition. So it appears. If it was good enough for 3 bedrooms then, it should be good enough for 2 now. And I believe that's the way the county makes their septic determination. Anybody else have any questions?
None.
Paul?
No.
And who am I forgetting? Rich. Okay. And the zoning officer? Attorney?
I would just note that this is a type 2 action under seeker and it is exempt from review pursuant to 239M. So you don't need to send it to county.
Thank you.
I do have one question. Are you increasing the paved area for that car that comes around the back of the house?
No, not at all. There's right now there's the driveway that takes you around on the north side to the back, and it currently accommodates the 5 vehicles quite easily, and we're not modifying that at all, since it seems like a pretty good compatible count for the residents and at least a guest parking.
Am I correct that in a picture, it looks like it's pervious? Is that correct?
They're pavers, so it's pervious, correct?
Okay, thank you.
Well, the driveway is not. The driveway is asphalt, so that's impervious.
Okay.
Okay. I think we've covered everyone and everything. We don't have an issue with the going beyond the limits as far as impervious. We're just dealing with the scale, which limits our interest this evening to a very narrow issue. The planning board will be doing a lot more, of course. So, that being the case, I think we've covered the waterfront here on this rather small variance in all respects. So, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
And Jim makes the motion. May I have a second?
Second.
All seconds. Serena, please poll the board.
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes,
Richard Perkins,
Yes.
Herbert Sweet,
Yes. The ZBA will accept public comments until 7 days following the close of the public hearing. They should be sent to ZBA Secretary at 4383 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York, 12538, or emailed to zbasec@hydeparkny.us. And we're expecting to have a resolution at the March 24th meeting. So, Mr. Will, we'll see you then, if you'd like to come.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, good night.
thank you, sir.
Thank you all very much. You all have a good night.
Good night.
Okay. So we have one final item, a new application from an old application, or whatever we want to call it. This is the Enclave at Hyde Park, Cream Street and Long Branch Road. Mailing address Poughkeepsie. Here for their fourth extension. And I believe we have Ms. Drago representing, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So this has been in play for quite some time. Mostly what we're interested in is what, if anything, has changed, which might change the conditions of our initial approval. But also of interest, being as this is the fourth extension, you might tell us what's been happening in the past three extensions that we're back for a fourth extension.
Well, so, I mean, we have our model home on the site. That was completed early last year, and, you know, we were getting ready to get marketing and start selling units. And then, of course, we ran into COVID, just like a lot of other folks did, which set us back tremendously. We had a lot of, we had limited interest in the units. It was just tough to get people out there and you know, get them to take a look at the property and the model that we'd built. And, you know, then we were trying to pull a couple of permits for units that we did have interest in, and had to do a little bit of a shift. We were, it was stated that we would not be able to pull permit for any additional units until we pulled permits to work on the water and sewer plan. So that's kind of where our focus has been. And I'm happy to say at this point, after, you know, doing a lot of evaluations and doing some code review work, we're getting ready to to get to with the DOH to revise our plans for those two facilities.
Begmar, can you tell me, your variances started before I got on the board, and
Yeah.
can you quickly tell me why you wanted to move from 2.5 density acres to 1.41?
Why we wanted to, it just, it was clear that the trying to get the 74 units on this property wasn't going to work. So we were just trying to figure out what would work here. At the end of the day, we found that this revised plan was going to work better and serve the neighborhood better.
How many is it now?
We are going to 50 units.
Did you, is the sewer and water changed with the density changing?
If anything, I believed it decreased because previously we had the property was approved for 3 to 4 family homes, 3 to 4 bedroom single family homes. And now what we are focused on is 2-bedroom units.
Is this a central sewer hookup, or is this, are these each have their own septic, or how is that?
No, it'll be central.
Okay.
And that's the water and sewer plants that we're hoping to get working on very soon.
Okay, understand. Thank you.
This is what's called a cluster development, where in the previous houses were put up with a conventional cut it up into 2-acre plots and put a house on each one. And with the cluster, which has come into vogue and across great parts of the country, the houses are all clumped together and a lot of the natural surroundings are left. But that's all still staying the same. Am I correct?
That's correct, yes.
No. It's interesting to hear that you were saying that you had problems getting people interested. I've been reading myself that everybody wants to leave the city and come up here in the country and get away from COVID. I guess they want to go to existing houses.
That is some of the comments that we heard while everybody was impressed with our model and the renderings that we were showing on the marketing materials. They, I guess, had trouble getting past, the rest of the site that was unimproved. So, like I said, we did have a handful of purchase offers, and because we couldn't pull those permits, they decided to just step aside for the time being. Hopefully, once we get this stuff going, they'll come back.
Okay. All right. So I think we've covered things. Do we have any questions? So the board members have asked questions. Do you have any more questions? Anyone? Zoning officer, any questions?
Oh, do you have an estimated time that you think you'll get through Department of Health?
The engineers are hoping that we can get this done with them in the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
If everything aligns, then, we're look, the work that needs to get done within the wastewater and water treatment plants are indoors. So, I mean, if we got the green light, tomorrow it'd be easy enough to get in and get it done. But then we're aligning with better weather. And so again, hopefully once we get to pulling that permit, we can start up on some more units going up.
So you anticipate being able to start work on the water and sewer facilities before your extension expires within the next year?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, any questions from the attorney?
No.
Okay. So at this point, we will be setting the public hearing for our next meeting, March 24th. And may I hear a motion to do that?
So move, McNary.
Okay, may I have a second to the motion?
Jim.
Okay, and Secretary, please poll the board.
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes,
Richard Perkins,
Yes.
Herbert Sweet.
Yes. Okay, well, we'll see you and hopefully not Luke next month.
Great, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
or bring him
Have a
along.
great night.
Good night.
Okay, so do we have any further business?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to be a little bit lighter by the next meeting because tomorrow I'm getting my first haircut in 5 months. I was at the point where I think I was about ready to be assuming a Boris Johnson haircut.
Actually, we like it. Or
Oh.
yeah, I think you should keep the longer hair. Don't get it cut.
And listen, I never made it to being a hippie. I was a white shirt and tie guy at IBM back then.
So a lot of guys with white shirt and ties had ponytails.
Yeah.
Not when I was there.
In fact, I was hired as one.
I was told that my long hair would ruin my career. Boy, they were right. But it was just about the same as it is right now. So much of my career.
Good luck.
Oh, well. So much for all of that, folks. And thanks to everyone for coming and our invisible support, whose lovely picture we see down the bottom, our webmaster. So may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
McNary moves.
Second.
Okay, Secretary, please take a vote.
Just 1 second.
Oh, okay.
James Agrawal,
Geez, I'm not sure I'm having such a good time. Yes.
I think we should.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
David McNary,
No.
Try again.
No.
McNary,
You can stay on with Dave all night.
okay. Rich Perkins,
Is it a simple majority?
You need 3 votes.
Yes.
Herbert Sweet.
I'm not really too sure. I mean, you realize there are people that tune in just to listen to my jokes. I don't want to disappoint anyone. But for the
I'll change my vote.
sake of formality, I'll say yes.
Okay.
Okay. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Good night.